Hello, friends. This is Darren Hayes of Pigskin.com. Before we take you to your favorite Sports History Network show, just want to tell you a little bit about some merch that you can pick up that represents your favorite SHN podcast. So far, there's t-shirts, coffee mugs, and even books from some of the authors that do podcasts right here on SHN. Who could buy something better than that, than have the history right from the gentleman that you hear talking about it? But we also are adding things each and every day. And where's that store, may you ask? Well, it's at SportsHistoryNetwork.com. Up at the top, there is the SHN merch button. Click on that. It'll take you right to the store, and you can be representing your favorite podcast and show the world that, hey, on the swag that I'm using, it's the headquarters of sports yesteryear, Sports History Network, and my favorite podcaster, the Sports History Network store. Shop there today. Check this out. Way back in 1936, we had a Nebraska traveling up to Minnesota, a team that had 2 national championships and had won over 24 games in a row. And this game was going to become quite an important one and one of the greatest games ever played. You're going to have to listen through on this one to hear who heard
the roar of the crowd. This is a presentation from which those great moments in sports history are revived. Come listen to the roar of the crowd presented by Pigpen Sports.
Hello, my football friends. This is Darren Hayes of Pigskin.com. Welcome once again to the Pigpen, your portal to all things great in sports history. And we are going to talk about some great football today. And one of the greatest games ever played. As a matter of fact, it is ranked as the 135th best game by ESPN for college in the first 150 years. And so it's right up there in the top 150. And this is a game that was played in 1936 on October 10th between Minnesota and Nebraska. Before we get into that, though, let's make sure that you are aware that we have a daily newsletter that comes out to your email inbox each and every day, totally free. All you have to do is sign up. You can sign up at this very podcast show notes or go to pigskindispatch.com up at the top for email subscription, and we will make sure tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. you will have that newsletter of everything that's going on in the Pigpen. That's not only Pigskin Dispatch, that's jerseydispatch.com, Orville Mulligan Sportswriter.com, and a lot of things are going on over at the sportshistorynetwork.com. So make sure you do that before you end your day today. So now let's get into that game. October 10th, 1936. You had Minnesota coming into it. They were the 2-time national champions that time. They were national champions of 34, national champions of 35. They had a 24-game unbeaten streak coming into this October 10th, 1936 game against Nebraska. Now, it was just a fantastic game, and they had to travel, Nebraska did, to play this top team and 2-time defending champion. And what must have been going through their heads is going into a real meat grinder of a game. But this game just proved to be one of the greatest games ever played because there was hardly any scoring in this game, and Minnesota was a pretty potent offense. They were, that's why they won so many games. And they, of course, played great defense, and they did play great defense. But Nebraska was equal to the challenge, almost. They came out and took it all the way till the end, near the end of the game. 0-0 tie. Both teams just not relenting any field position really whatsoever. And what happened was there was a punt near the end of the game. Nebraska punted it, and Minnesota's Andy Urim returned the ball 79 yards for the winning touchdown on a punt return, which was a lateral. Bud Wilkinson was the big star of that team for Minnesota, and he got the punt, started running it back, got into some trouble, got tied up, flipped a pitch back to Andy Urim, and he weaved through the Nebraska return team core and took it all the way back 79 yards for the touchdown with 1:08 left. Great video on pigskindispatch.com for this game that we have embedded from YouTube. And according to the Omaha World Herald, one Cornhusker player said after the game, he said, quote, "By God, they've got a horseshoe. They've got a damned swell horseshoe." unquote. This one propelled the Golden Gophers to win their third straight national championship, even though they lost a game later in the season to Northwestern in a rain-soaked field that Northwestern took advantage of and knocked off the Minnesota Golden Gophers. But Gophers still held on and became the national champions. And that's why, not only in that game with Nebraska with that 79-yard flip pitch return for touchdown for the 7-0 win, but also winning that national championship, they were one team that truly heard the roar of the crowd. I want to thank you for joining us here once again on this Roar of the Crowd episode where we go through some of the greatest games ever played. We try to post each and every day there's a great game. We have over 250 games between the NFL and FBS college games throughout history that we're reviewing and sharing to make sure that people remember great games, as well as Hall of Famers and great events that's happened, as well as all the teams that we can muster up some and some excellent guests. So make sure you stay tuned to pigskindispatch.com, and like I said, get that newsletter and you'll know exactly what's going on. Till tomorrow, everybody, have a great gridiron day. That's all the football history we have today, folks. Join us back tomorrow for more of your football history. We invite you to check out our website, pigskindispatch.com, not only to see the daily football history, but to experience positive football with our many articles on the good people of the game, as well as our own football comic strip, Cleat Marks Comics. Pigskindispatch.com is also on social media outlets, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget the Pigskin Dispatch YouTube channel to get all of your positive football news and history. Special thanks to the talents of Mike and Gene Monroe, as well as Jason Neff for letting us use their music during our podcast.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
It was just another ordinary day in the offices of the Pittsburgh Guardian newspaper circa 1924. But for Marla Delft, assistant editor, everything was about to change. For she was about to discover the awesome attractiveness of Row 1 brand retro sports paraphernalia items thanks to Orville Mulligan, sports writer.
And there it is.
Wow, Orville, that's really the bee's knees.
Isn't it just? A poster-sized replica of the actual 1909 World Series program cover.
I can see that. But where did you get it? And where'd you get it framed?
I ordered it from the Row 1 website, where over 6,000 items of sports memorabilia from the 1880s to the 1990s are available for reproduction, in multiple sizes and in several different materials, with over a dozen styles of frame to choose from for prints like this.
Well, I'm sure Mr. Delft would love to put up more of these in the office. But I'm equally as sure they're beyond this newspaper's budget.
Not at all, my dear Marla. See for yourself. Go to sportshistorynetwork.com/row1.
sportshistorynetwork.com/row1. Oh my, these are good prices. Oh, and look at this stuff. Oklahoma-Nebraska football, college basketball art, Michael Jordan items.
And so
retro
it was that
sports
Marla Delft
advertisement
discovered the
placards.
splendiferous magic of Row 1 sports memorabilia, arts, and prints. You can too by visiting sportshistorynetwork.com/row1. That's ROW1 today for access to the full Row 1 catalog of gallery prints and gifts like t-shirts, long-sleeve shirts, telephone cases, coffee mugs, blankets, pillows, towels, and even shower curtains. Act today for 15% discount off all prints with coupon code SHN15 and 20% off all other items with coupon code SHN20 at checkout. And keep your dial locked to the Sports History Network for the exciting chronicles of the 1920 sports world in Orville Mulligan, sports writer. Coming soon.